Now at 9, Joplin police announced the death of a motorcyclist involved in a crash yesterday. Plus, how a carpentry class in Carthage is helping students build more than just sheds. And
cities from coast to coast are overwhelmed as they receive busloads of migrants, and they say the situation is about to get worse. I'm Mallory Rivera in Washington with how communities are preparing for the end of Title 42.
The 4 states' most watched news starts now.
Thank you all for joining us tonight. I'm Jalen Banks. We have some more storms moving in tonight that we're keeping an eye on. We go straight to Chief Meteorologist Doug Hetty with the first look at the weather.
Yeah, we had showers, thunderstorms out there during the morning hours. We've had 2 severe events already this week on Monday and Tuesday. Yesterday, we didn't have to deal with any severe weather, but we may get some thunderstorms in here a little bit later on tonight. This afternoon turned out to be a nice day. High temps right around 80 degrees. Most of us look pretty good, but you can see a few little, very tiny little showers popping up. Southeastern parts of Kansas, not a huge deal by any means, but all the big time severe weather has been down through central Oklahoma, northern parts of Texas. So we want to see if some of these can kind of skirt up in our region a little bit later on tonight. This is mainly going to be after 11 p.m. or midnight, but if they can hold together, we could get some stronger storms in here. Temperatures holding 70 to about 74 degrees across the region. As we go through the night, we'll drop back into the mid 60s. Thunderstorms again tomorrow. We're going to break it down for you here in a bit.
The motorcyclist in a crash yesterday involving an ice cream van has now died. The crash happened at 4th and Schifferdecker in Joplin just before 1 p.m. yesterday. Authorities say the motorcycle driver, 53-year-old Larry Bellamy, was driving north on Schifferdecker when he hit the side of an ice cream van. Bellamy was taken to the hospital but succumbed to his injuries today. The van driver was not injured. Northeastern Oklahoma A&M College seniors are graduating today. For many, it will be like any other graduation commencement. But for nursing students, today's events had a little extra flair. The school today hosted a pinning ceremony for graduating nurses. It marks an important milestone in their journey to becoming fully registered nurses and the culmination of a lot of hard work.
I think nursing students by nature go through a long journey while they're at NEO. There's a lot of tradition in the fact that they get pinned in the healthcare industry, and our nurses look forward to this from the day they start the program until the day they end.
The pinning ceremony is a tradition for nursing school graduates dating back to the 12th century. Some Carthage graduates this morning took a trip down memory lane. Graduates walked down through the halls of the elementary school they attended and said hello to some kindergartners. The walk would also have a deeper meaning for some graduates.
We think this is a really great tradition that Carthage has to have these graduates come back, walk through the halls of the elementary schools one more time, get that last bit of closure for Carthage School District as they step forward into what life has to offer for them.
The walk only lasted around 10 minutes, but it's a walk that the kids and the graduates could remember forever. The Carthage Technology Center's carpentry class is building brighter futures. The students just finished their big project, and now the community can get involved. KOAM's Carrie Worthen has more.
It's cool, like when you build something, like you get the satisfaction of like, oh, I built that, you know, like nobody else built that, but I built that, and people are buying the stuff I built, so it's pretty cool, yeah.
Braxton Smotherman is a senior in Webb City, but travels to Carthage Central Technology Center to attend carpentry classes.
Our school doesn't offer that, so it's nice to come here in the morning and be able to work. And like I said, he's a good teacher, he's smart, you know, he's good at his job, and you get hands-on experience with everything you do here.
Nathan Oliger is a carpentry instructor. He believes hands-on learning is the best way to teach.
Smaller scale without having waste, so we can teach the framing, the siding, the rafters without doing it at small scale and then throwing that away or trying to recycle smaller boards.
He also teaches no waste of materials.
We actually use them, we teach them, we put it in a shed. That way we have an end product with zero waste.
The class has multiple projects throughout the year. One of the big ones is the shed that the class builds. It is then auctioned off to the public.
We do try to sell the end product, to get our material money back. And so through the school district, they have to be sold through an auction.
The carpentry class is building more than projects. They are building futures.
It's nice because I like how this program offers that, because even building small things, you learn how to build big things.
In Carthage, Carrie Worthen, KOAM News.
The Carthage Technology Center carpentry class has two 10-by-10 storage sheds for sale. Students from Carl Junction School's Launch Club partner with the Joplin Philanthropic Society to present a check to Carl Junction Bright Futures. The $15,000 check will go towards addressing the needs of families and children in need. The students raised $5,000 from fundraising. The funds were matched 2-to-1 by the Joplin Philanthropic Society for $10,000, totaling $15,000.
Helping all of our students that are at or below poverty level. So we help to meet their needs, whether they're just everyday needs or their emergency needs. So I'm like that contactor between students and the community. So this grant.
The launch grant funds will be used to expand the current scope of Bright Futures in Carl Junction schools. It'll also help the Carl Junction community focus on health, hunger, and hygiene in the coming school year. Mother's Day is this weekend, and Water Gardens Ministries is celebrating moms and kids with their third annual Blooms of Hope. It's a potted plant and flower sale conducted by the ministry moms to celebrate our moms. Proceeds go towards benefiting the Washington Family Hope Center. The center has housed moms and kids seeking shelter, but they've been full since opening in 2020. Now they're renovating to bring a second floor to the center.
When we have an event like Blooms of Hope that's directly having the contributions go toward the Washington Family Hope Center, folks can know when I get a gift from mom, I'm also helping other moms who are trying to get to a better state in life.
The second floor hopes to add 8 to 9 units. Currently, there are 6 units. Cities across the country from Boston to San Diego are scrambling to receive migrants with Title 42 set to expire at midnight. Many say they don't have the resources to handle the demand. Fox News correspondent Madeline Rivera reports from Washington.
Federal agents at the San Ysidro Port of Entry in California are making sure they're ready. Dressed in riot gear, they practiced drill formations, crowd control tactics, and tear gas training Wednesday, ahead of the termination of Title 42. The city of San Diego is bracing for an influx of migrants once the pandemic-era policy ends.
We need to be able to increase the migrant shelter capacity. That's our message to the federal government.
Cities along the U.S.-Mexico border aren't the only ones preparing. Denver is also seeing busloads of migrants overwhelming their resources.
We're doing everything we can as a local municipality to address this. However, we can't do it alone.
Local leaders are struggling with solutions. Officials in New York City have opened 130 emergency sites and 8 humanitarian relief centers. Still, a spokesperson from the mayor's office says they've reached their limit and have no other option but to temporarily house recent arrivals in gyms. And they say the worst is yet to come.
We could potentially get thousands of people a day in our city.
But Mayor Eric Adams is facing backlash for busing migrants to upstate New York. Some immigrant advocates say communities can't fall back on their obligations to help those in need.
Stop the false narrative that we cannot accommodate these families in a welcoming and compassionate way.
Despite preparing for this scenario for almost 2 years, the Biden administration says the southern border will be chaotic for a while as they transition to new policies. In Washington, Malta Rivera, Fox News.
Coming up, making water safer.
The EPA is unveiling steps to remove potentially dangerous chemicals in drinking water. I'm Brian Yennis in New York. I've got the details coming up.
Forever chemicals can cause significant risk to human health, and the EPA is taking steps to remove them from drinking water. Fox News correspondent Brian Yennis has the story on tap from New York.
For the first time, the Environmental Protection Agency is looking to regulate forever chemicals, or PFAS, in drinking water. These man-made compounds take a very long time to break down and can cause serious health risks.
We see negative health impacts, things like kidney cancer, testicular cancer, lowered immune responses, issues with cholesterol, reproductive health harm.
PFAS have been used since the 40s in non-stick cookware, clothes, planes, and fire extinguishers. But over time, they've seeped into drinking water. Most of us have detectable levels of PFAS in our blood at this point, but the new crackdown is no cause for panic.
We do have some of the best quality tap water at affordable prices here in the U.S. And this is just part of the process to make sure that we stay in that enviable position.
The EPA estimates the cost of the regulation could reach up to $1.2 billion every year. Utilities would have to monitor and remove high levels of 6 different chemicals, leaving some to worry about the price tag. The Association of Metropolitan Water Agencies is concerned that local water systems will bear the burden, telling Fox they support removing the chemicals, but, quote, the polluters should be paying this cost, not the ratepayers.
And so this is still a topic of a lot of study, and folks are trying to understand how best to handle this problem.
The EPA is aiming to finalize the regulations by the end of this year. The public comment runs through the end of May. In New York, Brian Yennis, Fox News.
A new 3-drug combination developed at the Dana-Farber Cancer Institute is helping fight advanced kidney disease. Previously untreated cancer patients receiving 3-drug combination had a 27% lower risk of progression or death compared to those taking 2 immunotherapy drugs. Doug is back with a complete look at the forecast, and later, Missouri Southern softball kicks off the Division II national tournament against Minnesota Duluth.
Well, it turned out to be a nice afternoon after we had some showers and some thunderstorms during the morning hours, and then we got partly sunny skies and started to warm up as we went into the afternoon hours. Nice shot. This is Indigo Sky Casino and Resort. Of course, Indigo just outside of Seneca, Missouri. All right, temps right now still kind of sitting in that 70 to 75 degree range, and we're not going to drop off too much tonight. We'll drop back into the mid 60s, and that's about it. 71. We have an east-southeasterly wind, light. Visibility's fine. Humidity is at 78%. We'll drop back mid-60s and then rebound to 74 by the time we head into about the middle of the morning hours. All right, not a whole bunch going on for us right now. This is all ground clutter around the radar sites, but you can see a couple little tiny little showers which have been popping up southeastern parts of Kansas. And I do think we'll start to get some thunderstorms in here a little bit later on tonight. All the big time severe weather has been through parts of Oklahoma, but you can see the big spin out across western Kansas, our big upper level low, and this is going to give us thunderstorms over the next several days, even strong, possibly severe thunderstorms. But you can see these storms right through central parts of Oklahoma, and then just north of Oklahoma City, this little cluster, we're going to have to see if these kind of flare up and start to push in later on tonight. If that can occur, they may be a little bit on the strong side. All right, so hit and miss scattered storms. Here's 11:30. Let's go through the overnight hours. Another little cluster starting to work in 1, 2 o'clock in the morning. Again, some of those could be strong, maybe low grade severe. If we did have anything like that, we're talking about mainly hail and wind. Works into southwestern Missouri once we get past about 2 or 3 o'clock in the morning, and then most of these will be gone by the time you wake up tomorrow morning, but we are going to get some scattered thunderstorms. Severe threat again tomorrow, especially north and south, but I do think this area is going to fill in at least probably by tomorrow morning. So our timing tomorrow is 4 p.m. to 11 p.m. Main threats, hail and wind. We're going to keep all of the threats on the slight side at this point in time. So after we get scattered thunderstorms tonight, we get some sunshine back here in the morning. Temperatures are going to make it upper 70s by the noon hour. Once we get into the afternoon, we warm into low to mid 80s. So it's going to be a pretty warm day. And then tomorrow evening, thunderstorms start to get going out across Kansas, parts of Oklahoma, and then kind of shoot to the north and to the east. But some of these guys could be strong to severe as well tomorrow evening into tomorrow night, and then just kind of sits on us, clusters of showers and thunderstorms lasting all the way into Saturday morning. So hopefully we'll get a little bit more rain. 84 tomorrow, 84 Saturday, 80 on Sunday. Thunderstorm chances last all the way into Monday. We cool down a little bit next week and start to dry out. Thunderstorm chances again late next week.
Again, and again.
Yeah.
We need all that rain.
We do need it.
Hit away at the drought. Hopefully we can make a bigger dent over the next few days. All right.
Absolutely.
Thank you, Doug. Coming up, cutting down on pollution.
The EPA issuing a new rule to regulate power plants, but critics say it'll raise your electric bills. I'm Grady Trimble on Capitol Hill. We'll have the details coming up.
The White House picks a new fight with the energy industry, finalizing a new rule that could force some coal and gas power plants out of business. Fox Business correspondent Grady Trimble has more from Capitol Hill.
The Biden administration gearing up for a major environmental fight with the formal announcement of new regulations on power plants. For the first time ever, the EPA says it'll limit carbon emissions from existing coal and gas plants, forcing them to cut their greenhouse gas output by as much as 90% or face closure.
This administration is committed to meeting the urgency of the climate crisis.
The new rule impacts plants that generate about a quarter of all U.S. greenhouse gases. It follows an EPA proposal to make 2/3 of passenger vehicles electric or zero carbon by 2032, part of a broader push to promote the administration's green agenda.
It takes into account, all of the energy requirements and needs of this country in a way that doesn't compromise reliability, but the impacts to costs are also extremely negligible.
But some lawmakers claim America simply can't afford it. West Virginia Senator Joe Manchin says the administration is trying to, quote, regulate coal and gas-fueled power plants out of existence. And other critics warn the rule could impact the reliability of America's electrical grid, leading to higher energy costs.
The Biden energy policy is having the exact opposite of what they attest to be for, which is, lowering the emissions and helping the environment. They're actually hurting it.
Senator Manchin says he'll oppose all EPA nominees until the Biden administration stops what he calls government overreach. On Capitol Hill, Grady Trimble, Fox Business.
Up next, we'll meet the top dog or lion in the U.S. Navy's Marine Mammal Program. Turns out, sea lions become avid gamers with naval training. Meet Spike. He's one of the Navy's more than 120 marine animals in their Marine Mammal Program. Spike is especially important because he is top in his class, finishing the full training program first, despite starting later than the other sea lions. The sea lions and dolphins in the Marine Mammal Program are trained in various tasks to help with reconnaissance and recovery tasks. 30 more minutes of news, weather, and sports coming your way. Volunteers gather to clean up a popular trail in Joplin. Plus, Kansas Governor Laura Kelly signs a bill into law aimed at combating fentanyl overdose deaths. Some workers from a local real estate company today participated in a trail cleanup in Joplin. KOAM Jean Nahadala took a look at the volunteer event and has more from the trail.
Despite this rain, some Keller Williams workers take their time to volunteer for the Joplin Trails Coalition by doing a major cleanup here at the Frisco Greenway Trail in Joplin. Joplin Trails Coalition President Bob Herbst says the real estate company on their volunteer Red Day provides around $5,000 in total for materials and donations.
This is speeding up maintenance by years. Just the material that they're donating, it would have taken us, a couple years to have the money to do that. And all of the volunteers that they're providing is allowing us to be able to do a lot of work in just a short amount of time.
Projects include building a bridge for handicapped users, laying gravel, installing a guardrail, and trimming hanging branches. Keller Williams volunteers say the trails are important to them.
I do enjoy walking on the trails, and then my son actually has a mountain bike, and so he goes on a lot of the trails off of the trail.
The rain did not stop workers.
I think it makes it more fun. Whenever things rain or things kind of go off plan a little bit, it's a better memory, it's more of a story, and we're really excited to be here.
Volunteers and Herbst hope the trail users notice the changes.
The other day, digging these holes, the parking lot was completely filled and there was no place for people to park. So that tells you the popularity of the trail, and I think you're going to see as we're here, people are using the trail even when it's raining.
In Joplin, Jan Nahadala, KOAM News.
The Frisco Greenway Trail cleanup was one of 3 projects Keller Williams employees volunteered on today. Red Day projects are selected from applications submitted by community organizations. Keller Williams agents in Joplin today stepped away from their daily duties to support the community. It's part of the Realty Company's annual Red Day. It takes part every second Thursday of May. Some employees visited Camp Quality and Higher Power Garage to do labor work. The American Rehabilitation Ministry Prison Outreach in Joplin today celebrates 50 years of service. To celebrate, they held an open house to show their facilities. The organization provides religious services to prisoners such as Bibles and offering Bible studies.
Personal programs. We reach them through our Bible Academy. We also have, over these 50 years, sent out 3 million plus greeting cards to the prisoners. If I had a second life to live, I would come right back into prison ministry again.
The ministry is at 3605 North Main Street in Joplin. Changes are coming to the Joplin Police Department's National Night Out. National Night Out is usually one single event in August. Now, they're extending it. The department will host several events throughout the summer. Officials say the changes will allow the police department to reach more communities within Joplin, considering National Night Out is typically held in one area of the city.
The locations are really designed to have people from those neighborhoods that we host these block parties come and talk to the officers, come and interact with the families that are there and the other agencies. That will provide us an opportunity to be able to hear the concerns from local residents.
With the new changes, the first National Night Out will now be next Friday, May 19th, from 4 to 6 p.m. at Humphrey Park. The state of Kansas today decriminalized fentanyl test strips. The strips can be used to detect the presence of fentanyl and other substances. Until now, they had been considered drug paraphernalia and were illegal. Governor Laura Kelly says the decriminalization will help prevent overdose deaths in the state. Oklahoma's governor signed a bill into law yesterday, decriminalizing the strips in his state. May 11th officially marks the end of the COVID-19 public health emergency. Even though the worst of the pandemic is behind us, the virus has left a lasting mark on American society. Now, with some administration health experts are warning we may not be prepared for another pandemic like it. Fox News correspondent Lauren Blanchard is in Washington with more.
More than 3 years after the COVID-19 pandemic launched a public health emergency in the United States, that designation is over, according to the Biden administration.
We're committed to addressing the lessons learned from COVID-19, increasing accountability, and continuously improving how we deliver information to Americans.
In a House committee hearing on preparing for future public health threats, there is worry that the U.S. and the national stockpile may not be ready for another outbreak.
Given the funding we are doing what we can against the threats that we see, but we need additional funding in order to be fully prepared.
By letting the public health emergency expire, COVID will now be treated like any other respiratory illness. There will also be changes coming to who covers the cost of once free vaccines and tests, letting many insurance companies decide. And there will be less federally required data reporting of COVID cases. The administration says they are investing $5 billion into Project NextGen to quickly develop vaccines and treatments.
These diseases don't respect national or state borders, and the increased frequency of outbreaks means we should not be asking if we will face another serious public health threat, but when and how many.
COVID-19 is not gone even with the health emergency over. According to the CDC, still 1,000 Americans are dying from the virus every week. In Washington, Lauren Blanchard, Fox News.
A new study shows sleep apnea might raise the risk of long COVID. Analysis of 1.8 million patients showed obstructive sleep apnea raised the risk of long-term effects from COVID by 89% in women and 59% in men. But that group of people also had other conditions like obesity, diabetes, or high blood pressure. When researchers looked at a group of 330,000 patients with comorbidities, the increased risk dropped to just 12%. A bit later, farming in the future.
A new robot is hoping to make farmers' lives easier and prevent some of our favorite food products from going bad. I'm Jackie Ibanez. That's all straight ahead.
Well, it turned out to be a nice afternoon after we had some morning showers and thunderstorms, and temperatures for us today right around 80 for afternoon highs. We're still sitting into lower 70, 71 in Carthage, 74 in Parsons. Miami is sitting at 76 degrees. And And it looks like our temperatures will only drop back mid-60s for us later on tonight. Going outside, 71 in Joplin. Feels like 71. We have partly cloudy skies and a few scattered showers, which have been popping up over the past couple hours. We'll drop back mid-60s, back to 74 by the time we get to about 10 a.m. in the morning. All right, so you can see some light little showers that have popped up across southeastern Kansas, kind of scooting off toward the north and to the east. Maybe a rumble or two of thunder right across Cherokee County, also Crawford County. Nothing strong by any means, but we're watching this big upper level low sitting out across western parts of Kansas. A lot of severe weather down through parts of Oklahoma. And this is a slow mover. It's going to sit here for a couple days, so it's going to give us those chances for showers and thunderstorms really from tonight all the way into the weekend. We have this cluster right across central Oklahoma. We've had numerous tornado warnings right on the south side of Oklahoma City. And these little scattered thunderstorms will try to get up into our region. I don't think they're going to be severe, but they may be a little bit stronger as they start to push in later on tonight. So let's go through time. Scattered thunderstorms picking up next couple hours on the Kansas and the Oklahoma side. Again, I don't think these are going to be severe, but they may be a little bit stronger, so a lot of thunder, a lot of lightning. Here's 1:30 in the morning, continuing to push through, mainly on the Missouri side once we get to about 2 or 3 o'clock in the morning, and then it looks like most of this is going to be out of here by the time we head into early tomorrow morning. We do have another severe threat. It's a low severe threat for us tomorrow, but still something we want to watch. From 4 p.m. to 11 p.m., I'm going to keep all the threats slight, but this may go up a little bit as we get into tomorrow. So we get our scattered thunderstorms tonight that blow on through. Most of the morning looks pretty good. We may get a few scattered afternoon thunderstorms that try to get going, but the bigger storms are going to be out across central Kansas, or really from northeastern Kansas, about just east of Wichita by tomorrow evening. And some of these could start to push in tomorrow evening. So scattered thunderstorms, some of those could be strong, maybe severe, pushing through as we go through tomorrow evening, and then they just kind of regenerate on us, and we can get some heavy amounts of rain and some strong little thunderstorms working through tomorrow night into Saturday morning, and then most of Saturday looks okay, and then we'll see showers and thunderstorms kind of flaring up again late in the day on Saturday. All right, so for tomorrow, we're going to go 84. Thunderstorms mainly in the evening. 84 Saturday, 80 on Sunday, 77 on Monday. Scattered thunderstorms through the weekend. Most of Saturday is going to be dry, but Sunday, these are going to be hit and miss throughout the day. So Saturday proper will be the better of the 2 days.
All right, sounds good. We just got to get through a few days of some rain and then some pretty nice days up ahead.
Looks pretty good.
All right, thank you, Doug. Coming up in sports, the Southeast Kansas softball standout signs to play at Crowder College. Plus, Missouri Southern softball hits the field for the first round of the Division II National Tournament. Jacob Leonard has those highlights and more next.
The Missouri Southern softball team has made the Division II National Tournament for the first time since 2001. The Lions are the 2 seed in the Central Region bracket. They get to host a regional for the first time in 30 years. This afternoon, Southern opens the tournament hitting the field against Minnesota Duluth. Down 1 in the third. Lions have runners on first and third. Adriana Young draws the throw to second. Throw is just high. That allows Grace Parrott to come home from third. Just like that, it's 1-1. Southern takes their first lead in the next inning. Emily Perry to left. That clears the fence out there. Solo homer for Perry makes it 3-2 Lions. Bulldogs answer right back. Kiana Bender hammers this to right. Solo home run for Bender. Game tied at 2. It stayed that way until the final inning and bottom 7. Somebody told me one time, do things right, play hard, game will pay you back. This is one of those times. Second and third for Adriana Young. Grounder to third. Third baseman mishandles it. No throw. Sydney Hurst scores. That's it. Lions walk it off. Adriana Young gets the job done. Southern grinds it out to win 3-2.
I know my team had my back, and I just wanted to have theirs. And going into that bat, I was like, what can I do to move this runner, score this runner? And luckily, it win our favor, but I was just going to put everything on the line.
Good things happen to people who respect this game, and that's what Adriana Young does. Her entire career, she's just respected it, and that game paid her back right there. That first one's always the hardest one, I think, and finding a way to get it done and just gritty. And I feel like this team, they've earned this. They've worked their tails off. They're starting to get some recognition, and they've earned every ounce of it.
The MIAA Baseball Conference Tournament is down to just 4 teams. Both Pittsburgh State and Missouri Southern were supposed to hit the field today in the semifinals in Warrensburg. And because of the weather, Missouri Southern's game had to be pushed back to tomorrow morning. Pittsburgh State's game pushed back a little bit, but they still played tonight. The Gorillas faced the #1 seed and tournament host Central Missouri. Not a great night for PSU. They fall 13-2. Brett Daly 1 for 3 tonight with an RBI single. The Webb City Cardinals finish up the regular season tonight with an interstate matchup against the Frontenac Raiders. Now, these two teams have been two of the best in the area this season. Webb City is 17-13 coming into this one. On the other side, Frontenac 17-2. We'll start in the bottom of the first inning. Drew Vonderhaar singles up the middle for Webb City. Sam Weller scores. That makes it 1-0 Cardinals. Moving ahead now, bottom of the third, 3-0 Webb City at this point. Gage Chapman up, lines this into left. That brings Christian Brock in to score. Webb City with a comfortable 4-0 lead. But here comes Frontenac. Try to respond in the later innings. Top of the fifth, Raiders down 4-2. Alex Williams to first base. A little confusion here thrown around the diamond. Lane Sullivan takes advantage of it. Run scores. Raiders within 1. They're down just 4-3, but last chance for Frontenac. Top of the 7th, Walker Sweet closes it out with a strikeout. Webb City hangs on to win the border battle over Frontenac 4-3. Galena High School standout Mia Sarwinski signs today to continue her career in college. Sarwinski signs to play softball at Crowder College. Now, Sarwinski is an all-conference and all-state softball player for the Bulldogs.
Well, I just think that Crowder is a great school to go to, and their facilities are great, their coaches are great. Coach Barnes, I talked to him, he's just very open and welcoming. When I was there, I just knew I was going to be at Crowder.
Sarwinski is a name that Southeast Kansas football, basketball, track, softball fans have heard for a long time.
Absolutely. Well, that's it for now. We're back with more after this. A new robot could help farmers keep their crops from going bad. Fox News correspondent Jackie Abanez takes a closer look at how it works and why it would also keep farmers' workers safe.
From oats to rice, wheat, quinoa, and more, Americans seem to have a love affair with grains. But while they're tasty, the process of getting these products ready for our tables can pose financial and safety risks for farmers. But a new robot called Crover hopes to be a game changer. After being farmed, grains are usually stored until they're ready to be used. But while grain sits in silos, it can be prone to damage from heat, moisture, and bugs.
Temperature rises, bugs start to develop, start to breed, generate heat. The mycotoxins, mold, and then the grain's written off probably, and it kind of enter the human food chain.
To combat this, Crover is designed to surf on top of massive piles of grain, monitoring for any spikes in moisture and heat. A smaller version uses a special rotating motion to travel deep below. The devices can generate computer images showing the conditions in each grain pile so farmers can prevent damage to their crops. The technology will hopefully prevent death and injuries that can happen using the current approach to checking grains.
The main way of monitoring grain balls at the moment is still sending a person to physically walk on top of these grain balls, which is very dangerous to do because grain entrapment and grain engulfment can be fatal.
Using data harvested by Crover, farmers can make more accurate decisions when it comes to ventilating their storage units and managing pests. Jackie Abanez, Fox News.
Coming up, we'll meet a Minnesota man who turned his favorite beverage into fuel for his motorcycle. A man in Minnesota builds a motorcycle that runs on liquid you buy at a bar rather than a gas station. Fox's Maury Glover talks to the inventor about his latest work.
The people who know me, they always kind of expect something a little bit different from me that comes out of the shop.
Over the years, Kai Michelson has made everything from a rocket-powered toilet to a jet-powered coffee pot. But his latest creation is making a different kind of buzz.
One thing about this motorcycle is definitely different. And I like to be really creative, do things that other people have never done in the past.
Michelson has built what he believes is the world's first beer-powered motorcycle in his garage in Bloomington. Michelson says instead of a gas engine, the bike has a 14-gallon keg with a heating coil inside. So when he pours beer into the keg, the liquid heats up to 300 degrees.
Start a fire in 3, 2, 1.
And when it goes out the nozzles in the back, the beer turns into superheated steam, which provides enough thrust to move the bike forward.
The price of gas, it's getting up there. I don't drink. I'm a non-drinker, so I can't think of anything better than to use it for fuel.
Michelson says he hasn't taken his homemade motorcycle out on the road just yet, but he has entered it into a few local car shows where it has won first place. And while the Rocket Man, as he is nicknamed, has traded horsepower for hops power, he believes his motorcycle could reach speeds up to 150 miles per hour.
Yeah, it could be any kind of liquid. It could be Red Bull, it can be Caribou coffee, it could be anything, but beer, why not?
Michelson plans to test his beer-powered motorcycle on a drag strip sometime soon. But after a few demonstrations, it will probably end up in the museum in his house. His bike may be more of a boozer than a cruiser, but Michelson believes his unusual invention has raised the bar.
But we're right in its early stages, but we got it running, we got it built, and I think it looks pretty cool.
And that's our time for tonight, and thank you all so much for joining us. But before you go, we'll leave you with a video of a baby wallaby at an Australian zoo. Be safe, and we'll do this all again tomorrow. See you then.